All right. Hello, hello. How we all doing? Crispy, 7:15 or 8:15? I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. Let's get ourselves situated, shall we? Tamoki, what's going on, dude? How are ya? Okay, all my pens and everything are working. Beautiful. All right. Let's go. Had a fucking shit morning. Candice, how we doing? Have to take our little pup to the vet. He's doing alright. There's just a little bit of a scatterbrain bloody morning. So let's just cruise into this nice and easy, shall we? Prep my homework for next week. Nice one, dude. What are you drawing today? No idea yet. No idea. So let's just get some ideas because we've got none of them right now. Let's have a look. Come on, spin the mystical wheel of Pinterest. What have we got? Actually, what I did want to play around with was I was playing around actually with another. Let's see if I can open it. Open cloud documents. I was playing around with this guy. Like reflection sort of character looking in a mirror. I'm wondering if we could play around or expand on this a little bit today. I wonder. I think that could be fun. And that's why I got this little bit of reference there as well. Oh, I'm going to need to turn the fan on. Oh. Areeb, how you doing? Okay. So let's see. We've got this reference. I think it's just going to throw up that same model, same or similar model. Let's do like, I don't know, person looking in the mirror. Yeah, something like this is kind of interesting because it's tricky, right? Like this is kind of cool. There's some, I almost guarantee there's some AI bullshit. Yeah, I'm looking for an interesting composition. Not as many interesting compositions as I thought there could be. Here we go. Let's just do some sketches to begin with. So I had this idea for a little while, so I want to sort of play around with it because AI is ubiquitous now. Yeah, it is. Mirror reflection after hot shower, little condensation effect. Very good idea, Timoki. I like it. So it depends how we want to do this. Right, so we got to figure out the perspective a little bit. Because this guy, I kind of like this. I might even finish this up. But he was kind of like a zombie dude. So if we, what do we want? So we got our composition here. We're looking kind of down. Maybe there's this sink here. Leaning forward, we see the reflection. What are they doing, though? That's the thing. Are they just looking at themselves? Who knows? This is what we got to figure out. Because this is an interesting challenge to kind of do from imagination as well. Because all the perspective has to go back in the right place. We've got to understand where that mirror plane is. Where this, I don't know if we imagine just like the box of the head here, that's going to go back into perspective space, into the other reflection realm. And let's say this is where that head is hitting. Then we've got to make sure we mirror that quite literally on the other side. So it's a little bit on the tricky side, right? If we're doing it like very analytically, but you can get away with being just a little bit loosey-goosey with it, you know? Watching videos with Proco, nice one. Zombie dude's cool. Yeah, I know. I reckon I might. Maybe not this stream. I do like the broken glass in a way as well. So that could be like an interesting sort of composition. So we're kind of like looking bird's eye-ish. Apparently in Terminator 2, when Sarah Connor was looking in the mirror, James Cameron got actress Linda Hamilton's twin sister actor's reflection. It wasn't a mirror, but a hole cut out. Very good. That's awesome. Yeah, because that would work because it is just perspective. So that person standing on the other side here, it's just going back in perspective anyway. So yeah, very somewhat tricky to wrap your head around. That's a cool little tidbit. I like it. So what am I doing here? What am I doing? I'm just fucking noodling around at the moment. Let's knock it down. See if we can get something interesting going. Maybe they've had a heavy night and they're kind of like that kind of thing. Haven't decided if it's a lady or a man yet. I think with that bone structure, I'm going to say it's a dude. Eye socket, eye socket. Just to begin with, just sort of modeling out an idea. Pulling that eye down. Got that jaw down here. Just kind of like, damn. Mercer11, hey Ben, I noticed that when you're drawing, you constantly mirror the sketch. Can you explain how that helps with the process of drawing? It gives you a different perspective. It illuminates a lot of inconsistencies, and even some of the old masters traditionally, they used to look at their paintings in a mirror, because you look at something for so long in one direction, or in one perspective, you start to potentially lose the your, what's the word? I can't trust my eyes. Yeah, to make you go for it. If I open it or not, that's another question on stream, because I'm just rolling with it at the moment. Alright, but we have his hand. How can I have these actions? No idea what you're talking about. Not a clue, unfortunately. Miss Jura, if you can clarify your question, that would be cool. All right, let's see if we can map this head back here. Photoshop actions. How can I have these actually? I don't know. They're just I just made them. These are very specific, and a lot of them I think are. Sorry, I forgot. I wasn't even looking at this. My apologies. Yeah, these are just a lot of default actions. I don't use actions very often, honestly. Very rarely do I. Because I think, I think, what do I think? I don't know what I think. Actions. I've lost my train of thought completely. Yeah, you get these by default, I think. So do you know what actions are? That's the first question. Because I didn't for a long time. I didn't know it's default. Thank you. No worries. Miss Chura. Yeah, there's a couple of custom ones in there, but I don't use them, really. They're only for very specific things. Like, for example, I had in this workshop, I had like the students' work on a layer, and I had my work on a layer. Imagine this as like two layers in Photoshop, but they were just off center a little bit, so I wanted to like turn this one on and off, and it just sort of like flipped between the two. I just made an action where I just selected both of them, Command A to select everything, and then just like click align, and that's kind of it. So it's really a very specific thing that I've used it for in the past. I don't know, many years. Okay. So if that's the case, then we're going to be seeing this side of his hand. So this is where it gets tricky. Yeah, but I wanted to do it in batches. Day 5 it is in Dinses. I don't know how to say your name. Daisidinses. Yeah, when you want to do batching, that's when it comes in a little bit handy. The tricky part is as well, like the eye direction. Where is he looking? I'm gonna try and glad to have you here, artist Timo. So what you do like that kind of thing. So these crispy, you're not wrong. He is not looking happy. Alright, I guess that's very similar to what I've done here, but just like at it. Oh no, it's not actually. It's at a pretty different angle. Um, then we've got to try and map. We'll figure out how much of that hand is showing. On this side. Alejandro, how do you make the whole image rotate? You're amazing. Bear, greetings from Mexico. Thank you. You're too kind. The whole image rotate, you mean flip? I've just bound it. So this is view, flip horizontal. I've just bound it to Command F to do that. And if you're talking about rotate, you can just hit R and then you can rotate the whole canvas. Now I got to think about his ear. Now this is where thinking in simple shapes is going to help us out a ton. Because if his ear is going back this way on this view, then we're going to see like a weird sort of angle of his ear. Probably wouldn't even see it in a super clear way either. Yeah, this is where I can get stuck in the weeds of getting that reflection. This other version of him feeling correct. And I don't know if I want to spend too much longer on this. I'm kind of over this position, like this composition. Maybe we try a different one. We've tried it out. I don't know if I like it. It's kind of boring. If we were gonna do it like a mirror, then we'd sort of cut off a lot of this anyway. You see the eye socket come in on the backside. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I'd have to really, really think about that. Because if we think this up, because it could just be such like the subtlest of subtle sort of indents. All right, we've also got to think about this cheek is going to be, so really it's a cylinder that I'm thinking about. Cylinder, 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 cylinder. All right, I'm not sold that there would be a massive sort of kickback. Maybe there would be a kickback in the eye socket. Potentially, but what we got to remember is it's easy to forget that this stuff is going back in space, particularly this angle of the cheek. Right, so that's actually getting pushed back this way. It's not straight down. If we just did it straight down, it's going to almost make it like a flat plane, as if we're doing like that box. Right, that's not what we want. The head is coming here. All right, and those cheeks are going right in there. Need to check your Asara head. True. Well, funnily enough, I've got version 2.0 of Plain Jane sitting right here. She is now solid. and heavy as shit as well. So I got to figure that out. But I just finished this up last night. So let's see. Very good point. I don't know where my head's at today. So if we were to angle it similarly, right? It's hard to say because it's sort of like a different character, but we would be looking down maybe, come on. I'm doing like mirrored of what I'm looking at OBS. Yeah, you'd probably see a little bit of that cheek. Even at that angle. A little bit of that socket. And that's where we got that ear. Like here. Right, we'd kind of be looking at it just bang on. There you go. Yeah, just come together. Very tricky to get these two. Like I thought it would be very like easy enough to like get these two planes to sort of come together. Not as easy as I thought, so I might have to rethink the mold. But yeah, prototype. First successful prototype, let's say. Thanks to Mikey. That is going to come down and inward. Bone Brew, how you doing? Yeah, so really got to think we're looking down. We're looking down, 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 down. So back of the head here. Neck. Neck. So this is like a big old game of iteration here. I think we might lose a lot of this cheek to perspective. Been in a funk. I'm sorry, Bone Brew. Health things aren't going great. Sorry to hear it. And technical bottlenecks for stream things have been getting under my skin, but overall healing and dealing. Beautiful. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it's on the uptick. What's technical stuff? See if I can help. Or is it more hardware related? Why did I choose the hardest bloody thing to do on stream? I don't know. Alright, I'm over it. Let's try a different composition. I can always, like, this is just time here. I just need time, and I'm not going to spend the rest of the stream fiddling around with it. So let's try a different one, right? Like this one here, where it's just like seeing a little bit of the head, or even here. So it's more like if we were in the room and we're sort of seeing it from that kind of point of view. Hey, this is kind of similar. Now it's spitting out some decent compositions. Let's see if we can do a little study here. Fat Cappy, welcome to the stream. Very good. Do you have a favorite artist or someone who inspires you to draw? It changes month to month, honestly. All right, so we've got a tiny little mirror. Boom, boom. Still want to keep in perspective. We've got this shape here. Now I'm going to exaggerate as we do on the shapes and the forms and etc, etc. We've got an older system, so it's mostly not able to do the dual streaming thing, it seems. Yeah. Is it, question, is it the system or is it your bandwidth? Like internet-wise? So if we're looking up underneath here, this is going to be doing something more. But I always struggle when coming up with what to draw, always defaulting to exercises, boxes, and cylinders. Do you have any tips on how to, you know, come up with fun stuff? There's a bunch of different ways, I guess. One way to do it could be, like, I mean, you've got movie stills. That could be another avenue to go down. You've got real life, like use your phone camera all the time while you're out and about. See interesting compositions and see if you can recreate it. It does take a little bit of effort, I think. It's not something that can all like suddenly just happen. It is one of those things to work at as well, is to figure out some of the more interesting things to draw. Trying to keep my CPU usage on OBS under like 45% seems to be impossible with my current setup. So thinking I may need to just pick one platform. Granted, YouTube discovery isn't high for either one I like. Okay, now highest internet package possible. The computer is like well over 10 years old at this point and it is a laptop. Okay. Is it a Mac, PC? Because I'd rather, like, I've only somewhat recently been doing the dual stream. And the dual stream is very fleeting almost. And I think in YouTube, you can do a native dual stream. Like, so it will throw it out to shorts as well. I haven't played around with it. Yeah. Old Lenovo laptop. Okay. Yeah, so I'd do what you can. Don't let it be the bottleneck. Keep pumping the content. And know that the dual stream, I don't think is a big, I don't know, you'd almost be better off cutting up some of the stream and doing it as shorts if you're looking for growth. If that makes any sense at all. So I'll prioritize the single stream. That's why, like, if my bandwidth starts going to shit, I will cut Instagram straight away. Because it's kind of hit and miss. Some weeks I can't even do it. And it's not even a hardware issue or a bandwidth issue. It's just, I don't know. There's issues all around with this stuff. So... Have you been watching the new season of Primal? No. Cosmic, I have not seen the first season of... I have not seen any Primal. I recommend Queen's Gambit for cinema study. Very true. I like that. Lulu. I'm just gonna say Lulu. I take a bunch of screenshots when I'm watching a movie, show a movie. Yeah, 100%. You can also just like Google specific movie stills, like stills for different movies. I always feel inspired, like if I watch a good movie, to draw. You know why? I don't know. I don't know if anyone else is the same. So it's a good opportunity when that inspiration strikes to just, yeah, give it a whirl. Take some screenshots. I just realized the movie Joker has some cool aesthetic mirror references. That's true. Very, very true. I went away and came back and I thought the person was a pig. Then I realized the thing in the front was a hand, not the snout. Yeah. He's like, holy shit. All right, now I'm kind of going into the more tertiary or secondary forms. All right, trying to get a little bit of that gesture, making sure it's feeling okay. All right, let's get this. Head forward a little bit, I think, because this neck is a big thing for me. Seeing, yeah, that shape of the neck. Sort of stretching forward a little bit. And this is where you can use reference, get an idea, pick up a little bit of this, like download some of the juice from this reference, then go back and then add in your own character in the same scene or similar pose, you know? Like this is what I use reference most for, is understanding, not just doing a little copy, which I can do. I mean, there's also nothing wrong with doing that. You can just do a study, a reference, and it looks nice and then beautiful, done. But I am way more interested in getting what I can out of the thing. Now this hand is in a very interesting spot. So we might need to stretch that composition down a little bit because we've got the fingers sort of stretched in a certain way here. It's very unnatural looking, but also very natural looking, because we've all seen someone do that on the side of a cabinet or table or something. So I've got to guess where the fingers are, the rest of them. Oh no, the one I'm doing now. It's like it's like a pig. Maybe if I squint my brain a little bit. I'm not entirely sure how you got to pick out of that one. That's all right. That's each their own. You got your own artistic license, right? Nose, how did you keep the consistency? Consistency with what exactly? You would have loved Primal. It's from Gendy Tartakovsky. I might have to check it out. The psts is pronounced like a moth hitting a lamp. Very good explanation. La pst lulu. La pst lulu. That is what I'm thinking. Hit the YouTube side and stream from there from now on. I do want to mess around with the dual stream they have. Yeah, because I think it's native, so I don't think it's anything on your end hardware-wise that you have to contend with. I miss the days of organic discovery. Yeah, but we can also like manufacture that organic discovery. I like how you've edited the pose. It reads better than the original. Yeah, Crispy. I like playing around with them, like pushing things a little bit more. Like the neck. That's what I was really seeing here. This like looking. I think everyone needs to watch demo videos of Gendy's process because he's pure quirky genius. I have to check it out. Kobe Toons, I'm glad you always stream your art studies. I'm glad that you guys are here to watch me. Thank you very much. It always reminds me that I need to take time to finish my art. Well, I don't know if you should follow my lead on that because I have a big old trouble for finishing my personal my personal art. That's okay. We'll get there. So we got this. Also, little update. Drea is getting dangerously close to alpha for the workshop people to come through and check out. So then shortly after that, it'll be public. And that's been a ton of fun because, oh, can I show? Oh, sorry. I misheard. Oh, sorry, Bone Brew. I got mixed up with finding references versus content streaming. My apologies. Manufacturing the organic discovery via the making of a short, but also yes. I started watching your old broadcasts. Now I'm on the third one. Man, that's going to be interesting to see how things have changed. Probably my art style's changed noticeably, I think. My camera presence, I think, would be a little bit different. Just for context, Gendy did the Clone Wars cartoon and Samurai Jack. Hell yeah. Nice one. What I might do, because yeah, I'm going to give you a little sneak preview. This thing that I'm going to show you is a little ways away, right? Let's see if this doesn't just tank the whole stream. Yeah, because I'm running it on the development server. You can do it. Come on. This is npm div. Let's see how it goes. All right, cool. 301 localhost 3001, because I want to give you guys an idea of where I'm taking my learning, really mixing the 3D and the 2D worlds together, and I want to find a way to share that with you guys in an efficient way. It's all going to make sense momentarily. Uno momento, por favor. Let's see if this wants to open. Come on. So yeah, this is like a test course here. All right, so if we come here, all right, so I've been working. All right, so this is test animation. This is light ray penumbra, and I think it's broken. It might be broken. Yeah, it looks like it's broken. Of course. Oh, network. There's a network issue. But this is like inside Drea right now. Right? So if I can go to my asset library, if I clear this, test animation, use asset, loading 3D. Let's see. Come here. No mesh layers. Okay, yeah, because I was working on it last night and now everything's broken. Of course, I'll get back to you on that one because I'm pretty excited about it. Essentially, it allows me to, in browser, dissect 3D models. So you'll be able to, like, so for example, I've been trying out animations as well because I'm thinking about doing an, like a workshop and or course on expressions, faces, heads, and all that kind of thing. But I'll be able to get like the head here, animate the expressions, but also have the skull and muscles underneath, and you'll be able to strip them back, which then leads into some fun anatomy visualizations as well. Because what I really wanted, I still do, when I'm like trying to understand parts of the anatomy, like the shoulder joint, like all the articulation. I want to be able to strip that back to see the joint. Then I want to layer on the muscles. Then I want to layer on the skin. Like I want to see the different layers, because it's one thing learning the joints, but I want to see how everything works in unison together, and then how that looks stylized in my style, you know? So yeah, I'm playing around with that. Are you building a course platform because places like Artward, 21 Draw, and Procreate aren't as stable? No, nothing to do with that. It's just I'm more than happy to work with Procreate. Yeah, nothing wrong with what they've got. It's just from the creation standpoint, I'm really focusing on the creation, because what I want to do is I want to, like, essentially like how software is made or products are made, I want to be able to beta test within the same, I want to build in the same platform. So I want to have a really, really slick editor. I want to be able to do versions of lessons and courses as well as videos, because you'll be able to, as a student, write inline comments in the text, on the images, and on the videos as well. So I can get feedback and I can iterate very, very fast. So it's not just a place where I put a finished thing that I hope everyone's going to like. I couldn't find anything that allowed me to iterate and build and do exactly what I want and add all the 3D models and all this sort of a lot of this functionality. So then I just, yeah, got me and my boy Francis, where she said, yeah, let's build the thing. So that's what I've been working on for the last like year and a half. And any other ideas or thoughts on discovery, whether organic or manufactured? Discovery, you gotta start thinking about that hook, right? What's stoppable? what's going to stop the scroll, you know? Let's see. Hopefully this doesn't tank my computer. All right, back to drawing. My apologies. I'm really liking this like fingers off of the side of the table there. And you got a little bit of this drapery leaning over. Do you like the band Gorillaz? I went a little off topic. Yeah, I do. So your course platform was more like a live service game where there are continual balances, changes, updates based on player feedback. That's a pretty cool way to think about it, actually, because I think the way online education, there's like such a room for growth in online education, and I'm trying to build what I want for myself. And selfishly, I would love people to hop on there and make courses that I want to make that are like the most useful things ever, you know? Because I've got that like the background in and it's a big part of the reason as well why I did the workshops this time around with the grey matter, is because I wanted to make sure that the stuff I'm putting out is useful. I can edit the shit out of videos and make them all fancy and stuff, but if the content isn't getting the result that people are after, then it's kind of useless, you know? Do the examples make sense? Can I swap and change them? How easy is it for me to swap and change the examples? All right, I think that at least I'm betting on that's the... I can only talk from what I want, right? I think that's what I would love as a student, is multiple different ways of explaining the same topic in different variations, different examples. But based on feedback that's tested on a bunch of other different people, you know? But yeah, I'll be showing a lot more as it gets closer to launch. All right, let's see how we can find this. Other usage limitations for your platform during the alpha phase, such as a maximum number of users. So this alpha is going to be me as the creator, and I'm going to decide the students that are allowed in. You know, so basically everyone in the workshop that got the seat that gave them access to this course that I'm working on, that's the max. Like there's no cap really. It's like an artificial cap of however many people I want. But I'm going to just like let everyone in, start looking at the content, learning, absorbing it, giving me feedback. This doesn't make sense here. That explanation in this video is kind of weird. What do you mean by that? You know what I mean? So then I can iterate a heck of a lot faster. But more importantly, I can make it the most useful as I can, as fast as I can, you know? And it also opens up a different potentially it's kind of going the game developer route in a way. So you can have like open alpha, closed alpha. You can have like paid, closed alpha. Like it's all sorts of stuff. It's going to really be dependent on how the creator, although I hate that word, but gotta find a different one. How the creator decides that they like to iterate on this stuff, you know what I mean? I'm super amped for it. I cannot wait for it to be launched, you know. So I've been working on it for a bloody long time. But it's never going to be done, right? Just like with the course content, the platform is going to be iterated on as well. Also working on collaboration tools. So you'll be able to, multiple creators can work on the same thing at the same time. So almost like a multiplayer kind of thing, almost like your Google Docs, but for everything. Do you take the viewpoint that art is like sport? If that is the case, would it not track that once the basics of the sport are learned, it's all about rote practice from that point? I don't think so, because if that were the case, then once everyone learns how to just like kick a soccer ball, kick a goal, then there'd be no need for like coaches on the team to make those subtle tweaks. I think the things to focus on change. Like for example, this is like a perfect example of what I'm going through at the moment with the homework of the workshop. Once I've got to get my students to understand the Terminator, right? That light rays hit a certain point and then they don't. This termination point. I'm not going to go into the subtleties of edge control, the different kinds of edges, the different ways that you can sort of describe value changes, and using a bunch of different examples from a different artist before we understand this basic concept. Right? But once you get this basic concept, the learnings and the things that you focus on change. Yeah, you can kick the soccer ball. You know that you've got to get it in the goals. You know the rules. But then it's just... And it's also up to how like different students are gonna work differently. Some students don't... They're like self-propelled and they're like, nah, I'm all good on my own. Sick. Nothing... I think it is such a tailored thing. The learning of anything, right? Because I still take I take courses. I take like Blender courses, animation stuff, because that's going to help my 2D stuff. You know what I mean? Sculpting course, you know. It never, at least for me, I love... The most fun for me is when I learn a new skill. That's the whole like thing of really me making content. I don't think I could just do an entertainment channel. I want to learn stuff consistently, always. And a part of that is sharing that process, because it also helps me learn stuff a lot faster. If I can explain it, then those concepts are going to sink in a heck of a lot easier, right? But again, that's just me. Some people are like, yeah, cool, I'm done. I know how to do the thing. All right, let's use it on the project that I need, because that's what I was looking to learn the thing for. Everyone's just that little bit different, you know? For you, what's the hardest thing to draw? I don't know if I have an answer for that, really. It's the hardest thing to draw. But to that point, a coach is building drills, exercises, conditioning, and maybe technique, but those are to address specific parts of your game. Yep. But then it's also pointing out like blind spots. Because there is a part of it where it is just rote. You do have to get the pen to paper and do the thing. Did you celebrate Pokemon Day, Ben? I didn't even know there was a Pokemon Day. I didn't even know Pokemon had a day. Everything's got a bloody day. I bet you there's like a snapback cap day. You know, there's a coffee day. There's somewhere in the world, you know. I had no idea. All right. And funnily enough, right, we're talking about this with Bone Brew. Instagram right now has just stopped. For whatever reason, periodically it'll cap the stream at an hour. So I'm just going to end it. End the Instagram stream. And now we're just streaming on YouTube. You know, so it's kind of odd, this multi-stream. It's not a solved problem. It's very Wild West feeling. In the streaming space, at least for me. It's like there's a lot to that can be improved. Now this is interesting, right? If we look, I've just noticed this now. If we look at this mirror, it's at such an angle where it's not super clear, but it's not actually flush to the wall. It's actually sort of coming out. So that's why we can see her at this angle. Otherwise, I don't think where we're looking, and if we closed that mirror flush to that wall, I don't think we would see a reflection. So it's like staged in that way as well. Do you do recommendations? Depends what I'm recommending. I don't know what you'd like a recommendation on. Do a Bridgerton study. Feed the entertainment. I mean, that's that from a discoverability standpoint. If we're talking strategy, not a terrible idea. That's also another one for you, Bone Brew. For discoverability, if I was going full like analytics mode, I'd be looking at pop culture right now. And I'd be seeing, okay, what's popping? Pokemon Day, apparently. So I might do my version of Ash or whatever, you know what I mean, in my style. That's one strategy. I think there's even a YouTube video I think that Christian did with TB Choi. A lot of her, she mentioned that a lot of her fan art actually got her jobs, which is kind of cool. Because that sort of broke through, if you know what I mean. Oh, Alejandro. You legend, didn't have to do that. Thank you. Is there any question or something specific I can help out with as a thank you? So what's happening here? So we can be subtle, right? We can be pretty subtle with this head turn. Because we've got the profile. It's easy to do profile, right? Tomoki. Fascinating. There you go. So it's not a perfect profile that we've got here, right? It's actually, if we were to do a cube, It's not straight like that. It is actually turned away ever so slightly, right? If we were to think through the cube. Moon Knight in your style would be really cool, especially since he has 3 personalities, and there is a scene in the show where he's looking into 3 mirrors and each one corresponds. Jameson's Cove, that's a fantastic idea. But to Bone Brew's point, yeah, I'd feel dirty drawing things that I have little to no interest in, and I still feel ways about fan art. Okay, that's fair enough, Bone Brew. But yeah, I don't, like, if I'm not interested in the thing, I will tend to not draw it. That's why I haven't done too much fan art lately. Not saying that I won't, but I don't feel I don't feel any moral thing or whatever about fan art personally. But that's fair enough. You just got to figure out what works for you. But yeah, from the organic side, what's the hook? What's always thinking about the end user, right? What's stopping them? What's good? What's worth stopping? The scroll, because that's what it's all bloody about nowadays. Is the freaking scroll. You should give Moon Knight a read and a watch. You might like it. I reckon I might do that. I'm going to get into some more fiction stuff. I don't watch much. That's why I haven't done much fan art recently. So it's going to be very, very subtle. We might even see some of this cheek crossover to give that illusion of that turning away, like back in space this way. We might not even see, right? If we were, excuse me, at a perfect profile, we would probably see this mouth come down this way, right? This is another opportunity to really sell the idea of being turned away a little bit, you know? And it's odd because I hear the same thing so often about fan art that people get hired off that. It's always made me happy for other people. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, but Bobber, yeah, you just got to figure out the thing that gets you going, you know? It's tricky because you've been going through a lot recently, you know? Exactly like what you said, though, Bomber. I just feel like, I don't know, false drawing something I know nothing about or have any connection to. Exactly. Yeah, I don't like doing that personally. But that's why maybe I should start watching some more fiction so that then I can enjoy both the fiction and then do some fan art. Because as I said, I always feel after I watch something, I feel like it's something, I don't know, got me in a way. I'm like, yeah, that's the thing I want to do. I want to like draw. I want to draw it. I want to paint it. It gives me inspiration. Oh, Alejandro, no, $1.50, 10 cents. I mean, yeah, I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Today I made accidental fan art. How's that? That hand is giving me chills. Love it. Nice. Okay, so here I don't want to copy that reference. I want to... I've also been thinking about from a sculpting standpoint and even like the physical sculpting. I would love to start thinking about full body figures, like statues. I thought it came to me in a dream, but it was just a repressed memory of Dark Crystal. Corin, how's it doing? It does look like Shaggy. You're not wrong. Maybe. Oh, nice one. Hope you've been well, dude. We're gonna catch up soon. Shaggy's going through some shit by the looks of it. Shaggy doing some drag. Yeah. Draggy. Because I believe this is a wig by the looks of it. What she's got on, maybe. Because Daphne is sick and Fred insisted. Okay. Oh my god, draggy. Yes, RuPaul would approve. Oh man. It does. I can't unsee it now. So you got Scooby like looking up. He's like, what are you doing? I could make him holding a little smoky. Ooh. Yeah, I want them to like... There we go. Now it can be Shaggy. A little bit more on brand. Although they never actually show this side of Shaggy, but I can imagine. Yeah, this is like the gritty Shaggy. To be fair, he is very stonercore. 100%. It's funny, as I got older, I was like, hold on. Why is he hungry all the time? Hold the phone. All right, this took a right turn real quick. All right, this is cool. I'm just gonna keep noodling on this if I don't stop. But no, got what I want out of this one. Well done, team. Made it more interesting. All right, now let's just try. I don't know. I'm feeling like doing a bit of color. I don't know. I just want to do a bit of color, a bit of something. Oh, that's cool. Who did that? Very cool. Whoever did this. I like. Oh, I love these. This is an inspiration to me. This artist. I know their work. I'm terrible with names. I just know their work. Woon Young. This stuff is sick. Like, I love it. There's just something about it that's just freaking cool. Very vibrant, bright, you know? And this is where you can like take directions with your own style. It's like, yeah, I want a little bit of that in my work. Well, let's try it out, you know? Okay. A bit of color. A bit of color. Color study. Jeez, that's intense. Far out. I'm just looking for something poppy, something with a little bit of... I'm feeling scribbly with the color today. I'm just going to get a brush and I'm just going to go for it. Wasn't there like a scene in the Scooby-Doo movie where they made a joke? They hotboxed the mystery machine. Yeah, rings a bell actually. I used to watch that movie over and over. That's one thing as I've gotten older I can't do anymore. It stopped a long time ago. But like I used to watch movies over and 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 over again and never get sick of them. I'd literally end the movie and then restart it. I can't do that anymore. It's very sad. Very, very sad. I mean, she's interesting. I'm liking the specular on this here. Let's try this. Just from a color study sort of thing. Let's give it a whirl. There is one artist who does all the old Cartoon Network characters in a far more mature and adult ways. Phil Tomato. That is some fan art. I have to check it out. Sydney, you're late. Nah, you're fine. I lost track of time because I got a new drawing tablet. That is understandable. But I think it pulls the characters so far out their norm, I wouldn't even call it that. Yeah, that's cool. Cyberpunk VN. Hi, say hello to Brazil dude. Hello to Brazil dude. Brazil. That's so valid. The live actions of Scooby-Doo were the best pick. Oh man. Yeah, I want to do some more nostalgic stuff. You know, nostalgic for me. All right, what I'm going to do, let's just go Scribble Town. I'm going to get a hard round texture brush, okay? And we're going to squint. We're going to just throw some stuff around. I'm not even going to start with an outline. Also, thank you guys for popping in today. I was having a pretty average morning, if I'm being honest. I was pretty low energy. I'm worried about my dog. He's going to be fine, but it's just stressing me out a little bit. But giving me the opportunity to have a giggle, to sit down, to focus on something, you know what I mean? So thank you very much for that. All right, giving ourselves a boundary. All right, let's start playing Scribble Town. Just like push. Push, maybe do a little bit of an outline. I really like this subtle, like real desaturated forehead that then goes into the super saturated, like nose and stuff. Sundays are not always a fun day. Well, it's a Monday for me. But that's also true for Mondays. What's wrong with the good boy? Yeah, he just woke up with one of his back legs just not working. So he's now on a lot of medication and hopefully just a little bit of bed rest. It's just like a pinched nerve sort of thing. But he's an old boy as well. And the upsetting thing is that he doesn't know what's going on. So we had to put him in a little crate. And he's like, what the hell? What have you locked me in here for? What have I done wrong? You know? This might turn out very not my style, but I just feel like scribbling away a little bit. Poor buddy, hope he is. Thanks, Bone Brew. Yeah, thanks, Crispy. Yeah. Nah, I reckon he's going to be all right. But yeah, it was just like straight out of sleep. Partner comes in. Shit, go to the vet. Like, oh, fuck. So yeah, very discombobulating this morning, but we're here. Shit happens, you know. We just got to keep rolling with it. Right, so I'm going to sketch in some stuff. Looks really weird at the moment. I know. That's part of the fun-ish, kind of. Until it gets frustrating, and then it's not part of the fun, and then you're like, what the hell? But we'll get there. I really just want to like punch these colors in. Really squint down. I think we've got to darken the whole thing. Alright? Darken the whole thing. Might even just block in. Like here, shirt there, shirt there. Appreciate it, Jameson. Happy to be here. You're always a boost in morale Sunday nights in Florida. Glad to hear it. Life is definitely laughing a lot for us right now. It seems like, but as long as we got art, good people, and good food, I think we'll be all right as well. Bone Brew. I agree. Let's blue this up a little bit in the background. Bam, 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 bam. Now I might sneak up on the eyes a little bit. I might not be so explicit with them just yet. We can start playing with values a little bit now. So let's see if we can get those sockets in here. Ear in the background. Talking of food, I need to do some shopping today after class. I tried this thing the other day that was chicken sandwiches coated in paprika and cream cheese. Oh la la. Now here, I think I'm gonna toughen up this jaw a little bit. And just bam. Jaw it. Bam. So I'm really just working with shapes at the moment. Not even thinking. I might even... See, I like certain things stand out to me in certain references. For me, this right here is the most interesting part to me of all things. It's this subtle change from cool to warm in the forehead. Yeah, all this fancy, like all the crazy colors and stuff. But this just here is very, very interesting. I'm just squinting down. Oh, I thought I had for my HOK was analog sticking to for my work was analog sticking to traditional mediums, methods, and tools only, filming my stream as if it's an old CCTV. See, that's the thing. You can get creative with it. There is no limit to what you can do. Like, that's sick. Like, you don't have to be constrained to what's already currently out there. You got to bring a little bit of your flavor to what you're putting out. And it can evolve. Don't be afraid to like try different stuff or just abandon an idea that you thought was going to be cool, but then it's just like, it didn't work out. Oh, well, on to the next. Thanks to watching your streams, I was able to do my first animation project at university. Hell yeah, that's nice. Each bite felt like I transcended into the universe. Gotta be careful with that. All right, so I'm seeing like yellows, greens, like all in here as well, so we can start playing with some of these different hues. How much do you think / feel artists must have favorite artists? I haven't thought about it at all. If I'm honest, so that probably gives you your answer. I don't have a favorite artist. One. It changes all the time. This is more on like the traditionally side of how I'd approach things. I saw a conversation about writers needing to have favorite writers, but I thought about it and I was like, I disagree with that. Yeah. I think if anyone says you need any one thing, particularly in the creative fields, I just disregard it personally. from a particular technique, an idea, whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't really vibe with that, if you know what I'm saying. I think you can learn the craft of story without reading and gain it through watching other forms of. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's all to do with your goals, what you want to do. Everyone's different. I don't like this sort of bobblehead-esque kind of thing I've got going on here, so I might tighten this up. You've noticed I haven't touched any of the specular reflections just yet. They're like the icing on the cake. So I almost want to cool down this a little bit. So I'm going to pull that into the greys. I think it's very important to have favorite artists, but you just have to be careful that you add something of your own when your influence enters into your wacky artist. I saw something the other day. I can't remember exactly what it was or who it was from, but it was a good. It was very well articulated. This whole point of like, it was like I can't remember who it was. Like an artist that's well known. Stop it. An artist that's well known, and someone emailed them and asked, "Hey, is it bad that I am very close to your style?" And what they said was, "Hey, look, you're learning at the moment. That's what everyone goes through. You take and pull from all your influences, right? But the time that you should start to really consider or be concerned about being your own is when you transition from being a student mentee, whether actually or just peripherally from looking at their work, right, to becoming a peer. At that point, that's when you're going to start adding your own flavor to things." And I think that was very well articulated from whoever that was. My apologies, I can't remember who it was. I tried to paint same way in Studio Slew for long pose sessions, and I love the oil pastels. Oh, I can't wait to go to Studio Slew. That'd be such a cool time, I reckon. In New York. When you're painting, are you thinking that much differently than when you are drawing, or do you find you're thinking about things differently, very differently? But they also intermingle between each other, right? Because at the moment I'm thinking light, dark, warm, cool, shape, and squinting down. With drawing, I'm thinking about shape, form, three-dimensional space. But then in different kinds of drawings, am I just using reference? Then I'll be thinking more 2D, shapes, relationships, proportions, versus doing more something like this, which is a little bit more inventive. Then I'm thinking about 3D forms, pushing the shapes, that kind of thing. But then the two can cross over. Excuse me. To, okay, I'm thinking, all right, light, darker, warmer, cooler sort of thing here. But then it's like, all right, what's the three-dimensionality of this nose? How is this actually working? Can we bounce between our understanding of 3D thinking? And then we can get a little bit of drawing in here as well. So I can come through maybe with these more occlusion-y sort of shadows with the nose, right? Then I'm thinking a little bit more drawing-wise. What's happening with the form, you know, 3 dimensions, the wireframe, all that fun stuff. So it does, it bounces back and forth for me, but at certain points in a drawing or a painting as well, I'm thinking about different things. She has very sharp features. She does. She does. Please come. Have you watched Ultimate Art Challenge episodes? I have. That looks like a ton of fun, actually. Sammy boy, if you're watching, which I know you are. No, I don't actually. I'd love to be part of one of those. Those art challenges would be sick. Really test the traditional side of stuff. That is an interesting statement, but when do you become a peer? See, I don't know. There's so much grey in this stuff. I don't have the answers for it. I think it's a good question. Like, I know I'm not on the same level of understanding certain things as yourself, yet I would consider you a peer in the art world. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't even know where I sit in the art world personally. You know, I'm just doing my thing. But I think he was coming from, whoever it was coming from like a working illustrator in a particular industry, you know? So if then you are vying for the same jobs, then that would be a clear delineation of like, okay, yep, we are now peers. But yeah, with this stuff, I don't know. I think the same. There's no real competition for me that at least I don't think of it that way anyway. I might even get a little bit scribbly. I guess a peer is when you begin to work professionally and are not just doing it as uppy. Yeah, I guess. Ah, you're a good bone brew. I will tell to Sam, I was you was in one of the episodes. Did I have to check it out? I haven't watched it in a little while. I think I watched maybe the first one. Or maybe this was before I knew you, so I didn't recognize you. Yeah, because I'd love an excuse to hop over to the East Coast. Yeah, I think that feels clear in terms of like professional industry side of art. Yeah, exactly. There's more black and white with that. However, I'm thinking of it along the lines of freelance and independent artist. Yeah, it's a tough one. Yeah, it's a tricky one. But everyone's going to have their influences, and if you look back far enough, Like the old masters, they probably had very, very similar influences. The people that influence them just aren't as well known, you know, if you go back far enough. See, this is what the flip is for. Because this eye looks lopsided as shit and we need to do something about it. Or do we? Maybe we don't need to do anything about it. Maybe we just let it ride. Nice one, Cosmic Butler. I like it. Originality is when people forget who you copied it from. I like that. What's my canvas size? I think it's 4,000 by 4,000. In freelance, I would say you are a peer as you're networking professionally with clients. Yeah. Speaking of industry things, in terms of art scene in Australia is pretty small. Is it pretty small? Like, do you have conventions and meetups? Oh, it's nothing like the US. Basically, all my, like just looking at my analytics and everything, everything's in the US and Brazil. Basically, no one from Australia. But from the art scene, it's tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny in comparison to the US, you know? There is a certain vibe, like I don't know if I said, like I love going to the US purely just for that vibe, like stuff's happening there, you know? At least I get that sense, even from the content side of things. It's like the mecca of everything that's going on. Any chance I get, I'm heading back to the US. Come back there this year for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. I think Kellogg Sloops is in Australia. I'm not sure who that is. My apologies. That's so funny because it definitely feels different for me. Granted, the southeast of the US doesn't seem to be as artsy as, say, New York or Cali. Yeah, I think the big thing for me was just the scale of the place. I've only been to California, right? So I have not seen bugger all of the US. But it's just the absolute scale, the amount of people that are there is just so different to Australia. Like, so different. I couldn't get over it. Like, it was just unbelievable. Just the opportunity. And maybe because if you're like born there and you're grown up there, it just doesn't really hit the same. But it's like, yeah, if you think Sydney's, like you go to Sydney here and you're like, whoa, big city, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of people here. Nah, nothing. I think you can fit the total population of Australia in California. Which is wild. But yeah, I'd like to do a bit of exploration around the US. Go to check out Texas, check out Florida, Minnesota. Even though Australia is wider than the moon, that's right. Yeah, most of the population is in the outskirts, though. But also, I feel like there's something with Australia. I don't know if you guys have something called tall poppy syndrome in the US. I don't think you do. But it feels to me, the vibe that I get, it could also be insular to California. But it's just like people are hustling, they're doing stuff, and it's rewarded in a way where it's something to be looked up to. In a sense. I don't even know how to explain it, honestly. Whereas here, it's not so much. It's just, yeah. I don't want to poo-poo Australia. Australia's cool and whatever, but like, I don't know. It just opened my eyes when I went to the US. I was like, whoa. This is pretty sick. Maniero. What do you search on Pinterest to find such cool images? Once I find one, I then use its like more results tool. Well, then it just gives me more results with like the similar sort of vibe, right? That's basically it. I don't have any secret sauce when it comes to Pinterest. You hustle for your rent in Australia. Yeah, the nail that sticks out gets hammered is it's like the crabs in a bucket sort of thing. Tall poppy gets cut. Yeah. I feel the same way about Canada. I think Australia and Canada are very similar, although I've never been there, but from what I've heard, very similar like vibes. Mum would break my legs if I tried to move to the States. I've lost my drawing pen. Oh, dude. You go find it. Gotta go find it. I feel you. People in the US really value hard work and building connections. Yeah, especially in a city like New York, it's huge, but the art community is actually pretty small. Oh, interesting. I thought New York would be like pretty. I don't know. Maybe it's small in comparison to America, but then yeah. But no, it is that kind of feel like they value hard. Like it's very, which I love. That's like my default. I love that. Not the hustle culture. I think that's all fucking buzzwordy and whatever. But I don't know, just doing cool shit, building that life that you want. What's your pen doing in your sock drawer? How odd. Spartan, what's going on? So in here is quite a bit dark. Well, not quite a bit, just a tad. It's getting a little bit scribblier, which is fun. In your first streams when you had no one to talk to, were you still talking? Yeah, it was practice. It was practice time for me. Because like, all right, at some point, I'm hoping people are going to pop in. So let's start talking to myself and feeling like an absolute bloody weirdo. That's my ADHD for you. The other day, my bag of pasta was in the cutlery. I've been taking a shot every time he says noodling since day one. My apologies for your liver. Have you ever tried painting inverted colors and applying invert effect to see if you've matched the colors? Oof. Never done that. That sounds like a cool little challenge. So how would that work? So if I was trying to do the blue, so this would all be blue essentially, or cooler. Cooler. Get into the earrings, Crispy. Now, do we just do like stupid oversized earrings? Like, bam. Or do we keep them a little bit more on the subtle side? Of just like, I like subtle. Subtle feels better. Whoa. As you get used to sort of painting in color, you start to see subtle like temperature shifts and color changes. See, like the bottom of her ear is a little less red than the top of her ear. So we can use that to our advantage. Go big. Well, we want to do this sort of thing. But it's just like ridiculous. So then like the lobe, or maybe they start down here. But then you gotta compensate now. So now this is getting stretched like crazy. Mm. Is there some things wrong with the eye? Nah, I'm getting noodly. Bugger it. Keep going. No time for noodles. Mark, how you doing? You are the berries. You have a great week, man. Drink. Oh, no. Noodle, 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 noodle. Yeah, not liking it personally. Not a not a huge fan. Let's see what we can do with some larger swaths of just paint. Get it feeling. Kick it back into something that I'm happy with. Might not happen. Who knows? When you were doing gouache, was it helpful for your digital? Definitely. Definitely. All traditional is helpful for the digital. I'm going to break all my rules. There are no rules. I'm going to liquify. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to scooch some things around. Oh, Liquify is struggling on this 4,000 by 4,000 canvas. Whoa. I don't often use Liquify, but I've started to use it a little bit. Because I don't feel like repainting a whole bunch of this eye just to move it over a little bit. Slight Dutch angle. I rigged up my webcam to be an overhead cam in the most janky way, but it seems to work, so fantastic. Nice one. Jank works. You'd be surprised how little people care about a little bit of jank. Would you normally throw lines over this, or would you leave it as a painting? I mean, this is just a painting. I wouldn't even bother. I mean, you could throw lines. I don't know. This is kind of like a throwaway. This is just a little study. I'm really not too concerned with it. About exactly how it's all looking. May, I'm just drawing with you, but couldn't finish yet. This is my first time drawing without sketching, and guess what? I'm in love with one layer drawing. I know, right? It's pretty fun. Thank you for making my morning great. Appreciate it. Thanks for popping in. If you lasso a select around just the painting, you don't have to deal with give. Oh, Crispy, thank you very much. See, I'm not familiar with the Liquify at all. I guess we could do some line work. Why not? Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Better Zim. I'm just in awe with your ability to stylize everything with little to no difficulty. It's an illusion, my friend. Every time I try, it feels like I'm still trying to draw within the borders, if that makes sense. Yeah. It's a constant practice and struggle to not do that, if that's what your goal is, you know what I mean? But yeah, I've just done this so many times that stylizing is kind of default now, because I've just like ingrained it in my brain. But I mean, come like a year from now, 2 years from now, I'll be like, oh, I wasn't pushing it enough, or the shapes weren't what I would want them to be, you know? It's all a process. But yeah, it's very deliberate to not go with the reference too much. I appreciate the kind words though. All right, let's see if we can get this shadow. We've been going for quite a while actually. Got a bit lost in this one. Get a bit of this shadow of the flower. Just going to be casting a shadow on that ear, so that's going to push that ear way back. Let's get this stem. Straight line, thank you. Yeah, I had that trouble as well, Sydney. Again, it's really a conscious effort to not do that. What I'm seeing here, as you start to place more and more shapes next to one another, you start to see subtleties. Like I'm seeing like a blue here that's sort of meshing into this. Well, not even a blue. That's just how I describe it. But it's meshing into the warmer colors around, but it's so subtle, and that transition between the two isn't a hard edge. We might even want to, because she's got like very square jaw actually. I want to play this up just a tad. I could start playing. Yeah, I'm just going to go with it. Whatever I'm feeling, I'm just going to give it a whirl. I might do a little layer mode just to add some of that nice color variation. I'm seeing more of these like yellows around her chin here, even dropping down into her neck a little bit. And we can just merge that back in. So if we look here as well, I mean, we're getting real analytical here, but I feel like doing it. So come along for the ride. What have you done to me? Pinterest? No. Ugh, come on. I don't want you stupid bloody AI crap that trying to... Alright, we're going to have to do some sneaky. That's a canvas. Weird. Well, old-fashioned way. So what we got to be more subtle with, I'm thinking. Actually, let's throw it in Pure F. That's probably going to be easier. This is very rough at the moment, which I don't hate. It's fine just for a study. I just want to explore a little bit more in some of the subtleties of the forms. Remind me later. Right, so even underneath here, we're missing some of this form that's wrapping around the mouth. It's actually a lot cooler up the top here as well. Cooler. It depends how close you want to go with the reference, you know. This is study, so we're studying. Even like the shape here of the specular can be a little bit more deliberate. Which we will get a little bit of more of that undulation, that the ins and outs of the form. The nose is quite a bit darker as well because of both the local value, the local colors, also how the light is conveying that on top of the form. And this is where we can make decisions on how much we want to push those colors as well. How deep do we want to go with some of the saturated colors? Because we also want to make sure that we're rounding the forms as well. Because this eye in the back here is going to be a lot darker. Even here, this is going to subtly wrap around. So this is like the second stage of iteration on this. It's like, all right, I'm trying to learn. I'm not necessarily even looking to get like a pretty result. I just want to understand what's happening here with all these different color variations. I'm trying to lean into the jank of my setup in the idea of slower processes for my content positioning. I think I have it nailed. Beautiful. Thank you, Lazy. I think the term is diegetic to mean in world. Instead of framing each piece study session as a study session, it is more so an in-world documentation of what this particular character sees. Cool. I like it. So even here, this is where we can start to get back into some of that 3D thinking. Right, this head is coming here, wrapping around, in, out, out. Right, and then, so this way of transitioning through the values has to make sense. This has to duck in. So we're kind of battling with what we see versus what we know and going back and forth and back and forth. And even down here, subtle value change. Are we noodling? Yes, we are. Do I care? Absolutely not. Are we learning? I hope so. Even under the chin here, it's got to have form. Darker value. Boom. Hey, hey. Daruko, how you doing? Great to have you. This is sort of like dipping into like an older way that I used to do stuff. Is very like painterly, really focusing on the reference, which is cool just to dip into it every now and then, you know? So this is going to sort of like bulge out a little bit here. Alfie and Katie, how you doing? Great to have you. Hope you both have been well. I appreciate the kind words, Alejandro. Now this is the issue. Because if I start doing this and I start going into the real like analytical side of stuff, then I want to like render the living crap out of this thing, which I'm just not going to do. So I've almost got to stop myself. Because there's so many little fun bloody things to discover. Would you ever do a live of you painting traditionally? Yeah, I'm planning to. I want to get that into the routine. Definitely. Because I got some studies. That I've been playing around with. Some like oil. This one's like a third of the way done. That's based off of a 3D model I did like ages ago. Focus. Focus. That one. And this one I did a little while ago as well. So I've been doing traditional. Now it's just folding it into the flow of things, you know, the setup. I don't know why, but paint makes me anxiety. I don't disagree with you. Like why that happens? Because it's a physical thing, right? It's not so free like this. It's also every bit of paint is like, oh, that's money. Like some paints can get bloody expensive. So you're like, oh, I hope I do well with this. But I want to cross the worlds. That's what I really want to focus on. Is cross the digital, traditional. It's all same. Light is light, value is value. It's how you decide to use that information and convey it in whatever way you want to do, you know? Appreciate it, Tomoki. Thank you, Crispy. Thank you, Brown. Alejandro. What's the medium? Oil. Oil is probably my favorite traditional medium. Maybe as we get away from the head, we make it a little bit more scratchy. You know, like here's our focal point. And then as we get away, I can maybe be a little bit looser. Maybe do it more like this kind of vibe. The tablet I'm using is an XP Pen Pro 15 something. It was given to me as a gift many a year ago. Have you had any breathing issues while using oil paint? I want to try it, but I have an autoimmune disease, so I want to be careful. Yeah, just make sure it's well ventilated. I think you can get... it's not so much the oil that's the issue, I don't think. I think it's the solvent. So I think you can get completely non-toxic solvents as well, which could help a lot. Maybe we try and like sketchify up this flower and then I reckon we'll call it a day. Do you have any other types of paint you would like to work with in the future? Yeah, acrylics, airbrush, right? Because I'm going to be doing a lot of the, a few more of these special edition plain Janes where I'll paint this half, which is fun. I'm also working on a skull side to her, which will be fun to do some airbrushing. How much does it cost in Australia? One oil paint I buy for around $10 to $12 per color. Yeah, it's about right, depending on the brand. Yes, I think you can use oil paint without solvents. Yeah, different solvents are going to be different things. You've also got mediums as well. So I just do a bit of research on solvents and how they would interact with your particular autoimmune issues. Just to be on the safe side, you know. For someone with ADHD, what advice would you give me to help them concentrate on drawing? Start small. Small projects, small efforts. The minimum viable project. Boom. There you go. You can try putting something like something you like in the background while working. That could be a podcast, movie, video essay. That'll keep your brain from wandering, keep you focused. There you go. Nice one. Also, I wonder what could help maybe is having like a, if you're studying or drawing or whatever, having like an end goal. You don't always have to do that, but just as an experiment. Oh, I could keep going on this forever, but I reckon I'm gonna pause it there. Oh, I just ruined that eye. Hold on. yeah, a little bit different from my normal stuff. It was fun. Yeah, I know, so calling it for it. Yeah, I reckon I will. I got to get going. It's a monkey. Blank. So like art, what's up with that? I know, right? I try listening to the new Gorillaz album while I draw and end up having a really energetic concert in my mind. I appreciate it, Crispy. All right. I'm going to call it a stream. We started off with this little more analytical experimentation from imagination. Then we moved on to this. Cool. I might even take this one further. This is quite fun. I quite enjoyed this. Shaggy. Wasn't initially Shaggy, but ended up looking like Shaggy. And then we just did something completely different. More of a painterly color study, which there's lots of things that I want to play around with. I want to move this ear. And up just a bit higher. This is the thing. You could get lost in trying to get it bang onto the reference. I think it's, I don't know. For my typical stuff, it's a little bit too close to the reference for my liking. I'd like to play with it a little bit more. But it's still got that sense of stylization, right? It's just a little bit more on the realism end of the spectrum. But with that, look, I just want to say thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. Streams happen every week, same time, 10:45 a.m. Australian Central Daylight Time, 4 p.m. PST on a Sunday. Ends up being a Monday for me. And yeah, thanks guys for keeping me company today. It really, really helped out. Put me in a nice little mood to finish off the day or continue throughout the day. And yeah, for those that are in chat, appreciate you. For those that aren't in chat, that are lurking, appreciate you just as much. All right. I will let you go. Have a great rest of your week or weekend, wherever you're at. And yeah, links are in the description. You know where to find all my stuff. Got some cool stuff coming up soon. And you guys will all be kept up to date with all the goings on as they happen. Sweet. All right. I will catch you next week, guys. Have a good one.